Hello, everyone. This is Realtor Linda Peltz. Today I'm here with Kyle, and he's going to tell us all about what he does and what he can do for you. Take it away, Kyle.
Linda, thank you so much for having me today. My name's Kyle Stephenson. I am the owner and founder of KRS Holdings. We um, own a bunch of real estate as well as we manage about 4,500 units here in Virginia and a little bit in North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
Um, it has been a wonderful run. I am so thankful that I have this passion for investing in real estate. We started right out of, well, I started, I shouldn't say we, I started right out of college, um, and had an idol, which I will just tell you, I'm going to mention the name, and I know there are a lot of feelings around this name, but understand this was 30 years ago. So there was this guy by the name of Donald Trump, and
Boy, that one could go either way nowadays.
there we go. There we go. And that's the reason why I say it right out of the box, right? So Donald Trump in the late 80s, early 90s was the man until he got into a bunch of trouble. Okay, so we can talk about that as well. But he was developing real estate. Everybody thought this guy was just a stud if you were in the Northeast. And what people don't realize and what they should Google is really Fred Trump. His father was a pretty interesting guy. So when you take a look at Fred Trump, I think Fred Trump ended up giving Donald Trump about $200 million. You can do a lot with a couple $100 million, but Fred Trump um, had developed a lot of things in Brooklyn and a lot of affordable housing. And so I really thought, like anybody when they're really young, hey, I can conquer the world. All I got to do is work hard, right? We don't
Right.
realize that failure is an option when we're young.
I don't think I
So
don't think a lot of the young ones realize that.
they don't get it, Linda. They don't get it, right? So I will tell you, I was so enamored by real estate, but I didn't have any money. So I remember reading books like Robert Allen. Again, I'm really aging myself. There's a guy by the name of Robert Allen, and he had a book, No Money Down. And I just would read this stuff almost, I could read it throughout the night. I was so excited about it. And so I ended up buying my first piece of property in my early 20s. And I said, well, shoot, if I can just pay this off, I'm going to be in a great position. Very long story short, we are now, 30 some years later. And I will tell you that I am convinced beyond a shadow of doubt that real estate is the best investment. If you buy it right and you pay attention, there's nothing that will outperform it. And so, I encourage the listeners to understand what they're looking at. That single family home, that brick rancher that someone would be willing to rent for 10 years, 20 years to put their children, their family maybe through school in a certain area. Um, that individual, that family will pay rent, and that rent pays off the note. It's additional income. And as simple as that sounds, you start doing that over and over and over again, and it can literally make you millions of dollars.
Well, I find it interesting that you figured it out with no money down. I mean, all I get it. All with the times, programs change and different things to where certain things work better at certain times in the market and different things. Can you give them maybe a little tidbit on what would be a good maybe in today's market, what would be a good application for how to get in, how to they can get started.
Yeah, great question. And that's right. In some of those weird times, Linda, you could get in with very little money, so or no money, and they would have no asset, no verification mortgages and all that type of thing. That's not so much the case now. So, my suggestion and what I share with people just getting into the market is and probably the right way to do it because I made with that no money down process. I will tell you there are vultures on the other side that take advantage of that. So it probably wasn't the best approach for me to do. Okay, but I would save as much money as possible. And people say, "Oh, Kyle, it's so expensive to live." Get a part-time job. Do something so that you can save money, so that you have enough, whether it's a 10% mortgage or a 15% mortgage, those are out there. So if it's a $300,000 piece of property, you know, yeah, how do I find and save $30,000? If you really, 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 really want to do it, it's possible. And I understand some people may not be in that position, but
I
I can, go ahead.
I think what most people don't realize is there's a cost, even though some of these may promote no money down or no document needed, or there's a cost for every time you go out of the ordinary mortgage. So right now I see, a lot of my first time home buyers well, I don't want to put any money down. I just want a house, right? And so there are programs out there you can go through with the lenders that give you that money, but there's still a cost for it. Don't you kid me? I mean, it is not free. So what happens a lot of times, whatever that cost is, um, maybe you're paying four times what the actual gift was, in higher interest rates, or maybe you have to pay it back, or within whatever the time frame is. It depends on what program they end up putting you into. But the no documentation, okay, you can probably get some of those, but you're going to be paying two or three times the interest rate, that maybe a typical with a good credit, your money down that you're talking about, interest rate that you can get in. And that interest rate plays a huge part on their monthly payment versus, I think I seen the biggest shift when uh, our house prices were zooming up, but we were at that 2 and 3% interest rate, right? And people were still griping, well, I don't want to pay that amount. Well, then you're going to miss out on the interest rate because they could get twice the house, even though the house prices were going up, they could get twice the house for that low interest rate. Okay, well, fast forward, the house prices are still up, but now our interest rate's up. Now you can only get half the house that you could have got if you would have just sucked it up and paid that little bit, $10,000 more, whatever it was, $15,000 more back when the interest rate was low. So I don't think people really correlate the interest rate as that really affects your monthly payment and how much you end up paying back on that loan. So there's a difference. I mean, house prices, yes, are going up, but they're going to continue to go up, whatever our interest rate is. But the interest makes more of an impact on how much money you pay back for that house. So I want to encourage people, you know, don't worry about that extra 10, $15,000 that you might have to make an offer on in order to get into that house. What you should be worrying about is, like you're saying, save that money, get that lowest interest rate that you can, because that makes a
That's right.
huge difference in that monthly.
And I will, I think, the thing is the sooner, if you find the right opportunity, like the sooner you do it in real estate, the better.
Mm-hmm.
Because the magic, okay, of real estate, number one is leverage, okay, so that I now can have a $500,000, let's say, asset or a $100,000 asset for 10, 20, $30,000, right? That I can
Hmm.
own that. And the beauty is the magic of compound interest. It is
Hmm.
a world marvel. And so I'm able to leverage a little bit of money, okay, to purchase an asset that we know over time over the is going to at least increase at the rate of inflation because it's how we buy or how we can construct assets. And so I share with people, I go, look, if you have $100,000 asset, right, that increases 2 to 3% a year, and you had put $10,000 down, I said and again, it's hard to do this just talking about it, but the math on that is a 10 to 20 to 30% return
Hmm.
on the money that you've invested. It allows, real estate allows the average American, okay, the individual that doesn't make $1 million a year, millions of dollars a year, to be a millionaire. You just
Hmm.
have to, it takes time. There's no secret. All right. I don't have, I'm not a get rich quick guy. Um, but me saving money, buying real estate, doing it over and over and over again allows to create wealth. And
Hmm.
that is really what I
And it
urge listeners.
compounds as you
It
collect
does.
homes. That wealth compounds. So you're, now from that very first home, you're 2 to 3% every single year that you own that, a little bit wealthier. Well, the second home, you're 2 to 3% wealthier every year that you've owned that home. So
Yeah,
it really does work, and it's one of the largest, greatest investment you can make for yourself, your family self, and your future. But, what is your thoughts on, not everybody out there is a great property manager. Is that something that you would recommend having, getting the owners out of it and let the property managers handle them?
that's a great question. So what I suggest to first-time home buyers is to try to manage it on your own the first year that you own it. And the reason is because if you don't appreciate what it really takes to manage an asset, then you wonder what a property manager does. And so for me, I have to really touch things and experience things for me to say, okay, holy cow, here's the value that someone brings. And so I'll give you an example. So we manage long-term rentals. I think we're pretty flipping good at it. Okay. Um, I didn't understand. So I happen to have a home that is a short-term rental home. And remember, I manage long-term rental homes. And so, very long story short, we ended up having to manage a short-term rental home. And short-term rental home people charge a lot more than long-term rental people historically. And
From the sound of it, you figured out why.
oh my goodness. So I mean, I can't believe whether it's, hey, I mean, don't get me wrong. If a faucet is leaking in a long-term rental home, right, you can get out there the next day or in a couple days. If it's short term, like they want to know, like, is someone going to be there like in 10 minutes, right? Or, hey, um, let's just say, gosh, the something is dirty, right? You got to go back and make sure the cleaner cleans something, or I don't know how to use the remotes on the TV, right? And so what you realize is that, or I don't know how to use the electronic lock to get in, right? I mean,
Mhm.
all of that type of thing. And so you have to be really, I look at that as almost a hotel service, not property management. And so now, right, I know what I'm paying for. And so a lot of times you get in, property manager, shoot, all you do is, collect the money and take a fee. And I wish it were that easy. So so I always suggest, hey, try it out for a year, and then you're gonna know because you may even love it, right? But a lot of people don't, right? Because it's still the same phone call. My stove isn't working. An eye on the stove isn't working. Um, the bathroom upstairs is leaking onto the first floor. Um, I
Well,
mean,
just
you
finding
name
contractors in short notice. It costs more. I mean, you probably lose a lot more sleep as far as, because let's face it, those calls come a lot of times at night or early morning. So somebody has to be on
so.
call all the time.
This is the honest to goodness truth. Now we manage a lot of property. So I would tell you that the past 5 years, we have either had a hot water heater to go on Thanksgiving or Christmas, probably every year for 5 years. It never ceases to amaze you. And it's like, why the heck, is this going on? Or 2 years ago, and you can tell I remember this stuff because this is what I do. I don't, it was either last Christmas or the Christmas before, we had a monster cold spell in Virginia, and pipes were freezing on Christmas.
Oh,
You
wow.
want to talk about a mess. So that's what we have to deal with. And how do we get people running water um, during crisis? This is a hospital again with my mom. Can you hold 1 second? We may need to. I'm so sorry. Can you hold?
Sure.
I'm
Well,
sorry.
it's on Zoom. We're holding,
I know.
watching you.
I know.
You why don't we give us your contact information real fast and we'll just get off here.
Yeah, my name is Kyle Stephenson. Unfortunately, I just had an emergency. I am at K Stevenson at KRS Holdings, and feel free to email me, Linda. Thank you so much, but I'm working on a medical
No
challenge.
problem. Everybody,
All right,
this is Realtor Linda Peltz. Everybody have a wonderful day. I'll include all the information
thank you.
below.
Yeah. Bye.